Hi guys, hope everybody is well. Been a while since I made a video. I'm going to make one here about a theory that I have about the intentions of the needlecraft, the whole agenda. Again, it's a theory, but I think it's could be true. It's linked to transhumanism, basically. So I've used this through this little diagram here to try and explain, so you can see where I'm coming from. I'm gonna use performance enhancing drugs as an example of what could be happening here with the general population of the planet and their reactions to the needlecraft. Because I look at lots of things, and I'm like a fly on the wall sometimes when I'm looking at YouTube videos of different people with different topics, and the whole fitness, the whole fitness side of things. The YouTube fitness. I mean, everybody is obsessed with PEDs, performance enhancing drugs, steroids. Basically, it's become a culture, and I think it is linked with transhumanism anyway. Everybody wants to be enhanced. That's even what they call themselves. It's they call very rare to say if you're natural. This is what fitness has become. This is how crazy the world is. But people, study these things. They take them. They use themselves as guinea pigs, and they talk about it. And what became quite obvious is that they realised that you have people who, you take the whole of the population. You will have people that won't respond very much to those drugs. They won't get the positive results. That is, they won't get the muscle mass that they think they're going to get, the gains and the strength and everything like that. They may, to you, that you may look at them and think they're natural. They don't take anything, even though they take a lot, and they don't get the results. It's something about maybe the receptors in the cell. They're not, even if they inject loads in their blood, loads of testosterone or whatever. Compounds like that, their cells won't receive it. They won't absorb much of it. Yet you will have on the opposite end of the scale super responders, where their cells will absorb that, or they will react to that. And it's a case of almost like Jekyll and Hyde. They don't have to always take a lot of these substances. That's what probably a lot of pro bodybuilders are like. I mean, many of them are just gifted anyway. They were, had big muscles to begin with, and then they take this and they really respond. But you have subjects apparently who never really responded well to just lifting, weightlifting. They never really had a natural capacity to get very big, yet they take these drugs and it's like Jekyll and Hyde. You see them 3 months, 6 months later and you don't recognise them, because their bodies are very, very sensitive to the positive side effects that they're seeking, and they don't have the negatives along with it, unlike people who have all of the negatives but very little of the positives. So these people on the outer circle would be the people who have negative reactions, and these people would often be maybe even die prematurely. Like they're probably susceptible to heart attacks, liver failure, blood clots, and things like that within these drugs. And then in the middle you have the super responders, who are an elite. They're rare. They're very rare. They're a lot fewer. In the middle you have people who are average. They're not going to be a super athlete if they take these drugs. There's a genetic factor to this, is what I'm saying. Yeah, they're going to be in between these people here and these people here. So, and the reason why, stay with me, the reason why I'm using this as an example is, I think that when it comes to the needlecraft, you have people who are basically genetically inclined to have all of the negative reactions of this so-called therapy. Let's call it therapy, for a better word. So they've fallen by the wayside very quickly. They've died immediately of the blood clots and the heart attacks and things like that. Their bodies were very hostile towards this gene modification type therapy, you want to call it that. Now, it doesn't mean to say that they're weaker. That's not maybe what we're dealing with here. It could be the opposite. It could be that the people who had the most aggressive reactions to these new drugs is that their immune systems were the strongest and they couldn't be tricked, and they were the most hostile to these invaders coming into their bodies. Basically, that's what immune systems do, isn't it? They protect, they fight. So if that's the case, then yeah, they may have been the strongest people, because these drugs, I think it's the Moderna, maybe most of them, this technology is these engineered RNA. They're designed to actually bypass your immune system and then get into the cell and infect it. It's technically what a virus does. This is from my knowledge and what I've read up on it. So they're there to actually sneak past the immune system, from what I understand. So maybe the people who had these really aggressive blood clots is that the immune system wasn't tricked. They found them. They rooted them out before they decided to try and infect the cells and then start manufacturing these new proteins, these special K, as Thomas Sheridan calls it. Let's call it that. Or they could have just really, when they were manufacturing these special K, the immune system was really strong and could have just went, full on and just said no way, and attacked them so much that the clotting happened. Because from my understanding, I read up on a little bit on blood transfusions, and if you have a blood transfusion, and apparently if it's the wrong group, if it's not your blood group, you will have clotting, because your body will attack those cells because they're different. It's the wrong program, so they will attack them very aggressively, and then blood clot complications are a side effect. So which kind of suggests there's a lot of material in here. There's a lot of these special K being reproduced. But so anyway, with that in mind, yeah, certain people fell by the wayside. They had the most aggressive reaction, and then maybe we speculating that in several years down the road there'll be more casualties. Maybe people dying of similar complications, but maybe less extreme, or it takes more time for the blood clotting to happen. Things like that. Another thing is reproduction. Just because these people haven't died or are not ill, are they able to reproduce, or are they sterile? This is another reaction to this drug. So you will have people that can't reproduce. Then you will have people that can reproduce, whose fertility doesn't seem to be impacted by it. So the agenda could be, it's not just about culling, but it partly is. It's about finding the individuals who are whose bodies are more designed and more accepting of this new therapy, whose bodies don't reject it. So it's not finding the strongest, it's finding the most compatible to this therapy. But it could be that we could be dealing with certain concoctions may have been given to adults or the elderly that were designed to kill. And then there was, people who are middle-aged. It could be that they want to cause some infertility there. But maybe this is why they're interested in children, because this is about transhumanism, I think. They're the future for transhumanism, children. So this is why they're very interested in infecting them with this stuff, because it could be that their immune systems are more, because maybe their immune systems, I'm no doctor or scientist, but it could be their immune systems aren't as developed yet, so they will have a less aggressive, hostile response to these therapies, and their it's almost like their bodies and their immune systems are more malleable, they're more flexible, they're less likely to reject, they're more likely to adapt. This is about adaptation. They're more likely to adapt to these therapies, and then be able to reproduce, and then that will be passed on to their offspring. And when that happens, then they will be enhanced further and further and further, you see. But it's going to be maybe a lot less of the human population are really suited to these therapies. So it's population reduction and transhumanism maybe happening at the same time. And another thing I want to add here is, it could be fake, I don't know, but many of you may have seen videos of black-eyed babies being born recently, and people are suggesting that it's because of the needlecraft. And if it's true, well, maybe they are what we're talking about here. They are the super responders who are accepting this therapy, and it's doing what it's supposed to do, what the agenda is. Because some say that these babies are aging faster, more likely they're growing up faster, they're walking really, really early already and being able to stand up. It's almost like the development is being sped up. It takes less time for the child to mature, and this could be part of the transhuman agenda, because maybe they want. Let's just give an example. They may want certain types of people where it takes 5 years for them to get to adulthood. This is the future, suggesting what can happen in the future. Within 5 years, they're adults, fully developed with a fixed IQ, who maybe are programmed to actually die at age 25 or something like that. And they may, have specific jobs. They can work 20 hours and only need 4 hours sleep or something like that, and not need much food. These maybe are the ideas that the powers that be have. Just made some notes here. Just thinking, is anything else that I can add? Oh yeah, I think it was in Israel. I think the mass vaccination program over there. I was watching a thing on BitChute, and it's really terrible. The amount of complications and deaths these poor people had was horrific. And again, it could be that these people were healthy, the healthiest. I don't know much about that culture. I don't know what life's like over there, but that probably is not as much support by the government. These people live a lot more natural lives. They eat organic food. They, work into their older age. They're maybe stronger and fitter, and so their bodies could have had a more, negative response to this therapy. Maybe they were undesirable. Because why did they want to? Inject, different groups of people more than others? Is it because they don't believe that they're compatible for this? I don't know. Another thing is that what about the reports of black-eyed children that people have been having for a good few years? Are they a supernatural kind of entity like a fairy, or perhaps they could be a secret black project, done underground by the military or something like that? For years, they could be transhuman children, linked up with AI or something like that. That were created, and then they're sent out in society to try to adapt and try and learn. I don't know. To try and be more human, or copy humans, and maybe they're sent out and then they're retrieved again, and then they're studied, and they're trying to see how they learn. It could be that could be the black-eyed children, and then we have these black-eyed babies who are the kind of the second follow-on of that project being actually implemented in society. It's a disturbing thought, I know, very interesting, but these are just some of my thoughts that I thought I'd put out there before I forget. Yeah, so I hope you find that stimulating. But again, it's a frightening thought, but we live in crazy times, don't we? So anyway, hope everyone's well, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, everyone. Thanks. Bye.